Hi guys, John Richards here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to manage your time better. We only have 24 hours a day. And if we don't manage our time better, we never accomplish those things that are really important to us. And a lot of times it's not what you think. The biggest thing that I do, and I learned this from a great book called The One Thing, written by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, is I've identified what's my one thing. What's the one thing? If I did that, everything else in my life is going to be amazing. What's my one thing? Because you can't focus on 2, 3, 4 things. If you chase 2 rabbits, you don't catch either one. So the first thing I would suggest you do, identify what's that one thing for you. If you accomplish that, man, you'd have a great life. Okay? Sit down and really think about that. What's my one thing? The one thing for me is being a 7-figure internet marketer. So what do? Is I surround myself with other 7-figure internet marketers. I focus on video marketing because that's what I like to do. I don't do something that I hate. I'm not great at social media. I do postings, I have followers and that kind of thing because I share from the heart. But the real passion for me is video marketing, and I'm going to start a blog because I'd like to share some stories of my life and how I've overcome a lot of things. So that's my one thing. Okay, secondly, when you plan your day, don't plan it the day of. Don't get up in the morning and say, well, what am I going to do today? That's a mistake. You're already behind. And I read this in a great book called Executive Toughness, written by Dr. Jason Self, and he talked about, actually it was Organizing Tomorrow Today, written by Jason Selk. I read Executive Toughness first, which led me to this book, and the very first chapter just blew me away on how to plan your day. And it also focuses on your one thing, So, when I ask myself each day, what's for tomorrow, now I'm planning tomorrow today, okay? So what's the one thing I can do tomorrow, such that by doing it, everything else is easier or unnecessary? That's called a focusing question, and I got that from The One Thing. I know I may be confusing you a little bit, so what I'm telling you, there's 2 to 3 books there you need to read. But what I want to do is I want to identify, I can't do 20 things tomorrow, okay? Or I can't organize and live by priority on 20 things tomorrow. So I'm actually asking myself questions so I can come up with the top 3, okay? So what's the one, and maybe some days I might only get one thing done, okay? And that's all right, because if it's the one thing that if I did that, everything else is easier or unnecessary, which in The One Thing it calls it the lead domino, that's a successful day. And I always ask myself, if I got this one thing done today, would I be happy with my day? Okay? That's the deal. So, what's the one thing I can do? And usually, and like I said, I want to focus that toward my one thing, for the month. I want to focus that toward my one thing for the year, and then 5 years, then someday, because I want to stay on course, because you can't accomplish everything. You're never going to get it all done. So you want to make sure what you're doing is taking you in that direction. The books you read should be reading about what you're trying to accomplish. Don't just read a bunch of books. Read books that are going to help you accomplish your goals. So what's the one thing I can do tomorrow? Sets up by doing it. Everything else is easier, unnecessary. I identify that, and then I do that 3 times. And again, I know that sometimes I'm not going to get those done, but I'm always going to get the one thing, okay? And these got to have to be musts. So once I've identified that one thing, then I block it into my calendar. Okay? Then I identify the second thing, then I block that into my calendar. Then I block the third thing into my calendar. So time blocking is amazing, okay? But here's the thing. Even when you time block things in your calendar, if you don't honor that time block, it won't help you. So if every time, you get an email and you go check it, now you're down that rabbit hole, right? Or if you get a text, or if you get a phone call. I went through an incredible program called Insane Productivity with Darren Hardy. And one of the things he shared on there that I implemented immediately is he never answers the phone. okay? Unless it's his wife or his kids, or, of course, and he knows who it is. But he never answers the phone. And here's why. Because when you answer the phone, you're reacting. You know, so if you let it go to voicemail, and you go listen to the voicemail after you've completed your one thing, you know, and your one thing, what I like to do is block off 4 to 4.5 hours a day to focus on what I consider my most important work. And until that's done, everything else is a distraction. And when that's done, then I go check my email, then I go check my voicemail, then I go check my texting, and that's when I respond. And I let people, and you got to teach people to communicate with you. But like I was saying, Darren Hardy hasn't answered the phone in 10 years. A guy like that, why? Okay, because he's not reacting to other people's problems. He's focused on his stuff. And when that's done, then he'll address that, you know. And you teach people how to communicate with you. You know, so the first thing you need to do, like I said, if you really want to manage your time better, is the first thing, what's your one thing? What is it? What's the one thing that you, man, if you got that, your life would be incredible. Think about it, okay? And then once you've identified what your one thing is, start planning tomorrow today. Identify what's the one thing I could do tomorrow, such that by doing it, everything else is easier or unnecessary, and write it down. And then do it again and do it again. And always understand, maybe you'll only get the first one done, but you identified what's the most important thing. What's the lead domino? If I do that, it'll push over all the other dominoes. That's the key. It's not getting all 3 done. Yes, you want to try to do that. You want to strive to do that. And if you time block and estimate your time right, you will get those 3 things done. Now, here's also another thing. That's not all I do during the day, but I always do that first. You know, in the afternoons, I'll make phone calls, I'll train people, I'll do self-training. Maybe I'll take the rest of the day off because I know that 4.5 hours earlier in the day, excuse me, I got done what I needed to get done. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure you do me a huge favor and give me a big thumbs up and tell me you liked it. Make sure you comment, tell me what your thoughts are. What's your one thing? Or how do you manage your time better? All right? Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And on the subscription button, there is a bell. Just click that bell and you'll get notified of any other videos I have coming up. And my YouTube channel surrounds around living your life by process. You know, life is a process. You know, a lot of people, what they do is they identify outcomes that they want to get, results that they want to have, but they never sit down and say, what is the process that I need to do to get there? And that, guys, will change your life. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hey, go out and make it an awesome day today, guys. I'm going to see you on the next video. Have an incredible day, and I value you coming and watching my videos. Thank you.